Have humans stopped evolving? My final project. Introduction. What is evolution? By definition, evolution is the process by which different kinds of living organisms are thought to have developed and diversified from earlier forms during the history of the Earth. The gradual development of something, especially from a simple to a more complex form, is the second definition I found. Humans have stopped evolving is a misunderstanding I will be addressing today. Why do people think we have stopped evolving? Here are two reasons I believe people have thought to begin we have stopped evolving. First is the longer lifespan. Due to modern medicine, the longer lifespan is one reason I believe people think we have stopped evolving. However, these medical advances do not stop evolution, but shift it. Genetic disorders still exist, but the research and medicine we have today help to combat the symptoms, decreasing the amount of natural selection. The second reason I believe people think evolution has stopped is there has been a slower progression, or at least to what they know of evolution. Many people believe that evolution is quick, dramatic changes occurring from one generation to the next. This misunderstanding has led many to believe we have stopped evolving, as there hasn't been dramatic change. Here's a picture of our ancestors all the way up to humans, and you can see at the bottom the dates at which they lasted and how many years we were in that form. The most recent, the Homo neanderthalensis, otherwise known as Neanderthals, was around 35,000 years ago. And so, yeah. Evolutionary evidence in genetics. Evolution changes are happening today, primarily by genetic changes. The changes happen through adaptation. The adaptation to malaria resistance is proof of this. The result that human populations begin to adapt to malaria via natural selection in sub-Saharan Africa. One of the main adaptations was by natural selection, increasing the frequency of the sickle cell allele at the hemoglobin B chain locus, which confers resistance to malaria in individuals heterozygous for the sickle cell allele. This is from the National Library of Medicine. Here's a picture of what that may look like. People with 2 capital A's are susceptible to malaria but no sickle cell disease. Those given 1 big A and 1 little a are resistant to malaria and only mild sickle cell disease. However, those with 2 little a's are resistant to malaria but have fatal sickle cell disease. Culture and evolution. A common proof of evolution is the growing brain of the human species, increasing in size significantly from our ancestors. This result is related to the growing human culture. One of the primary driving focuses for this evolution of brain size has been our increasing use of learned culture as a means of dealing with the environment and social interactions. This is also from the National Library of Medicine. Here's a picture to show how the skull developed as well as the brain developing with our human evolution and ancestry. Recent evidence of evolution. The characteristics of the ability to react to certain foods have been proven to be related to the ancestral background of a person. These evolutionary traits include the ability to break down starches and lactose. It turns out, for example, that descendants of farmers are more likely to have a greater production of salivary amylase, a key enzyme that breaks down starches in food. Most people alive today have several copies of that gene code for amylase, AMY1. This is from the Scientific American. Here's a picture of lactase persistence around the world. You can tell in some areas where there's less farming, there's less persistence, and those with more, it increases. Breakdown of lactose. Anthropologists tested the DNA extracted from skeletons of fathers who lived in Europe more than 5,000 years ago. That's supposed to say farmers. None of the farmers held the DNA, including the lactase mutation. Anthropologists have tested the recent gene pool of those living in the same area of Europe, and more than 75% present the lactase persistence mutation. This is from the Scientific American. Recent natural selection. Natural selection is still found all around us. It is the reason traits are passed down more consistently. The Dutch were not always much taller than the average person, but at some point in the past 150 years, Dutch women decided that taller men were more attractive and began procreating more and more. And although the study found that tall Dutch women were less likely to have children than middling height Dutch women, the tall women who did have children had more children than the shorter country folk. In combination, these preferences exert a powerful natural selection effect on the average height of the people in the Netherlands. This is from Medical News Today. Correcting this idea. We can correct this idea by educating the people around us. I believe we see signs of evolution around us every single day, and many don't know what evolution really is. Evolution is a gradual process. We are not the same today as we once were, and we will not be the same in a few thousand years. Each gene adaptation, modern natural selection, and continual brain growth are all proof that evolution still exists. Here are my sources. Thank you for listening.